The Department of Social Development is hosting the 11th Children's Parliament, which will be sitting in Bisho in the Eastern Cape tomorrow. It's a platform created to serve as a channel for children's participation and afford them an opportunity to influence policy as well as programs to ensure that their rights are realized. The department's Child Rights Advocacy Director, David Chabalala, joins us now virtually from Bisho to tell us a bit more about what's expected to come out of this very, very important sitting. David, thank you so much for your time. I suppose in other parts of the world, this would be a space where children can talk about their hopes and dreams. Unfortunately, because of the reality that we live in South Africa, the theme this year is maximizing the voices of children in addressing social ills affecting them. And unfortunately, in South Africa, those social ills are many. We're talking about gender-based violence. We're talking about femicide, alcohol and substance abuse. Poverty is a massive issue. So is teenage and child pregnancy. Tell us more about the agenda being set for this important sitting of the Children's Parliament.
Greetings, Marcel, and greetings to your viewers. Thank you very much for having me. Let me begin by indicating that a very quick one, that South Africa, having gotten into the global space, we have ratified what we call the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child back then in 1996. And I think it's important to indicate that this was the very, very first international instrument that our first democratically elected president, the late Utata Mandela, prioritized. And of course, that was testimony to show his love for children. And out of that, starting from 2011, we have created a platform where children are afforded an opportunity to express their opinions. And that also is by virtue of, in the Constitution, we are saying children has got the right to express their opinions. And we also ratified what we call the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. And we definitely, in essence, saying we can't continue like this forever, talking about children without having their voices. We have realized, and it has worked over time, I mean, it's work in progress, where in children, when they are sitting like they're meeting tomorrow, they are going to be discussing issues affecting their lives, and you have just rightfully outlined those. And we normally take their issues, put them in a form of a declaration, and our office is the office that is coordinating children's issues across all spheres of government. So we've got what we call the National Plan of Action for Children is our instrument. We go back to different departments to say, how far are you? It's a 5-year plan, and through that, we are able to see progress. And of course, I must also emphasize the fact that we can see that we are, as much as we are doing our best, but there's a lot that needs to be done. We are here in the Eastern Cape, of course. You will remember sometime last year, I think around about this time last year, we had a very shocking tragedy where children, underage children, perished because of them, having been in a tavern. And we're raising awareness, and we want these children to tell us how we can really mitigate on all these social ills. So that is the intention. It's about time that we must listen to them, not that we must just come up with suggested solutions without consulting with them. So this platform has been working over time, and it's improving. And allow me to also indicate that throughout our reporting platforms, we report to the UN, we report to Africa. There's been recognition that South Africa is having a very, a good kind of a system in terms of child participation. I can give an example. Last year, South Africa hosted on behalf of Africa the Global Conference on the Elimination of Child Labor. We pushed for the participation of children, and it was for the first time this global conference that it's convened under the watch of the international labor organizations. So we are being recognized in these two treaty platforms that we are coming up with a very good platform where children can express their opinions.
David, can you explain to us how we went about choosing the children who will come and represent the areas that they come from at the Children's Parliament, and how you're going to be going about running this Parliament? Will children be expected to give prepared speeches, or will they also be allowed to speak about their lived experiences on this platform?
Thank you very much for that question. Actually, I think it's quite paramount to clarify as to how these children are being identified. We have what we call Office on the Rights of the Child in each province. Most of them are located in the Premier's offices. They work with municipalities. And of course, as we know, municipalities work with communities. These children are sourced out of communities, but through a very democratic process, they go to a provincial sitting, and then children amongst themselves, they elect, like this time around, we'll be having 5 children per province. So these 5 children have been elected by children themselves to represent their respective provinces. Yes, of course, we allow these children to express issues. We just come up with a concept and identify areas that needs to be dealt with. And of course, we do this in consultation with them. So at the end of the day, they are able to express and share their lived experiences. And what is interesting is for them to come up with solutions, because we must be honest, it looks like general national, these social ills are more or less the same. And I can give you an example: substance abuse, or this issue that has to do with alcohol, abuse. I mean, there is now this phenomenon where children, after writing their exams, they are hosting what they call the pens down. So we really working very hard, and we want to walk this walk or this journey with the children.
Okay, we can only wish you everything of the best. Social Development Department's Child Rights Advocacy Director David Chabalala speaking to us live there from Bisho.